Many events of unjustified abuse of power have the level where one group of people usually consider themselves superior to others, usually related to physical or psychological features such as skin color, religious beliefs, social class and sexuality, etc. Specifically in South Africa, a massive movement known as the anti-apartheid movement delivered with main objective of fighting against the severe psychological and physical oppression that they were opposed to. This movement had two different strategies to accomplish this goal, which we'll explore in the video by answering by the following question. Which method was more effective to the anti-apartheid movement, the non-violent movement or the violent movement? During the colonial graph for South Africa between the Dutch, descended the Africans and the British, where the rights of native South Africans were sidelined. After living as non-citizens of their own country, there was a group founded with the name of ANC, which is the National Liberation Movement. It was formed in 1912 to unite the African people and spearhead the struggle for fundamental political, social and economic change. The ANC made two movements, violent and non-violent. The non-violent movements were made mainly by Desmond Tutu and Walter Sisulu. After the imprisonment of Mandela, he joined the non-violent movements. The violent movements were made by the armed wing of the ANC, co-founded by Mandela, was known as MK. The ANC fought for almost 10 decades. The oppression and racism organized mass resistance, mobilizing the international community and taking up the armed struggle against apartheid. The MK was the armed right wing of the ANC, which committed their dirty work as bombings. Desmond Tutu participated in protests of advantage and peaceful marches which brought 30,000 people onto Cape Town. Mandela became chairman of the militant group, which he has gained ideas from literature on guerrilla warfare by Marxist militants Mayo and Che Guevara, as well as from the military theorist Karl von Clausewitz. After his time in prison, he changed his idea and opted for a non-violent movement. At the start of the year 1952, the anti-apartheid movement approach towards the government was based on a non-violent protest, a very similar idea to the one delivered in the United States led by Martin Luther King. This peaceful launch by African National Congress, ANC, was known as the Defiance Campaign, a movement which was based on strategies such as boycott, strike, and civil disobedience. Probably one of the most significant protests of this campaign was the one Sharp Hill Massacre, where more than 60 participants were coldly assassinated by the governmental officials, while other 180 ended with severe injuries. Police officers claimed that many black people were throwing stones at them and that they simply answered to their provocations. Due to the efficiency of the non-violent movement, which only increased the oppression from the white society towards not only black people, but also ethnic groups from the country, most South African representatives started to consider modification of their strategy to accomplish their goal for equality. This ideological change, about which would be the best method to confront the ethnic oppression that many South Africans were living under, is expressed by Nelson Mandela in one of his first interviews in television. This interview was led by a British reporter while he was wanted, fugitive by the South African government. When asked about the likelihood of considering the use of violence in their movement, Mandela stated,
"You're talking peace and non-violence against a government whose reply is only savage attacks on an unarmed and defenseless people. And I think the time has come for us to consider, in the light of our experiences in this stay at home, whether the methods which we have applied so far are adequate."
Once this strategic variation was already approved by the representatives of this anti-apartheid movement, it was official by the ANC through the Manifesto of Akhonto with Size, which stated the following: "The times come in the life of any nation when there remain only two choices, submit or fight. That time has now come to South Africa. We shall not submit, and we have no choice but to hit back by all means within our powers in defense of our people, our future and our freedom." The government has interpreted the peacefulness of the movement as weakness The people's non-violent policies have been taken as a green light for the government's violence. As a group, we concluded that the non-violent movement was much more effective than the violent movement because by causing chaos, the government had the support of the white community who forced them to act in order to protest the rest of society. In using non-violent protests, some of the white communities realized the brutality of its government and asked for a change. The use of media as a medium made an impact, which not only accomplished to make this group grow, but also showed the world the constant oppression that the non-violent community had to live under due to their race, origin and religion. A very famous quote from Nelson Mandela summarizes the efforts of this movement portrayed as the following one: "I learned that courage was not the absence of fear, but the triumph over it. The brave man is not what does not feel afraid, but he who conquers that fear."